Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I got the seal, I got everything blown out, what I hope is clean. I'm going to take a little bit of grease and put it around the outside of the seal here. And I'm also going to take a little bit and put it around the inside of the seal. It's kind of a tricky situation here to get this seal in, because it's got to go over this little nub that's on there, which is rectangular, and I really don't want to damage my seal. Kind of a tough situation here, actually. I might take some kind of little pick or something and push the inner lip of the seal back so that I can get it on. Then I'm going to take this 5/8 socket here and just drive it down. So let me see if I can get that lip on, and then I'll be right back. I believe the lip is on, and I was actually able to push it in by hand to where it is right now. Now I'm going to take the socket, like I said, and just carefully drive it in. Oh, it looks like it's going on good. That's good news. Yeah. Wow, that should be it. We're ready to install it back in the machine, which is not a big deal. There's just 2 bolts and a gasket, and hook up the 2 hydraulic lines, and we're good to go. So it's dark out, so I'm going to actually set up a light and try this in the dark. Wish me luck. I'm going to assume it's in there because it's lined up and the pump is in the right position, and I don't think you could put the pump in unless that little tab is in the line. It's kind of a really hard spot to get to. I put this catch pan underneath here to catch any leaking oil, and barely anything came out because these lines were bone dry. But anyways, I think we got it. It's hard to tighten it. It takes a 5/16 inch Allen key, and it's just a tough spot all around. I think I got it tight. It's kind of a hack. I put the Allen key in like this. It's a 5/16, and I took a 5/16 inch wrench and put it on the end and turned it. It worked awesome. It's in a tight spot, so all I gotta do is hook up the lines and fill it up with fluid and see if it leaks. Alright, so everything is mounted back in the tractor now, and I'm gonna kind of like wipe off some of this old nasty grease down here, just so we can easily see if it spills the new stuff. Alright guys, so I got the dipstick here out, and obviously the reservoir is completely empty because it all leaked out. So let's fill it up and see if it leaks. Alright, so everything is filled up tight, and just visually looking, I don't see any leaks. And it gurgled down a lot into the reservoir, so I moved the lift lever up and down a little bit. It's after 9 o'clock at night, so I don't want to start it up right now. I figure I'll just wait until the morning, and I'll try it in the morning before I go to work. And anyways, back here on the pump side, I sprayed more of that degreaser all around the pump area there, and it's still wet from the degreaser, but I cleaned up the axle area pretty good on the top there, and I made sure that my lines are nice and tight, and the pump is nice and tight, the gasket's in there nicely, so hopefully when we fire it up, the deck will just lift right up and won't have any leaks. And then the next step here will be that we got to change the transmission oil, and then we'll be ready to mow with this sucker. Anyways, tomorrow's another day. All right, well, it's the next day here, and I investigated this pump, and we didn't leak out what I see to be any fluid last night. It's nice and dry down there, so I figure that we'll try to start it up and test it, and we'll see what happens. So, all right, here goes nothing. See what happens. Yeah, Well, I made a trip to Walmart and picked up one of these good old Value Power 26R batteries. And this will be going in the $25 812. Battery is $49.99. It costs more than the tractor. What the heck? And I picked up another can of the Supertech ATF here. And people have asked about what kind. And if you read the manual, it tells you it's supposed to be Type A, suffix A, which is old school and doesn't exist. And if you Google that, it tells you that it's compatible with Dextron 3. And Dextron 3, it says, Dextron 3 is backwards compatible with all the old school stuff. So as long as you say you got Dextron 3, you should be good. This one says it's high mileage. I don't know that it makes any difference, but it was like 40 cents cheaper than the one that wasn't high mileage, so I said why not. Anyways, that's it. So the transmission's draining and it's definitely red looking. That is for sure. It's supposed to take 6 quarts of 1040, and yeah, it smells like gear oil, number one. And number two, it is definitely red. So that pump must have been leaking into the transmission just like we had suspected. I'm glad I'm changing it. So I'm going to put 6 quarts of 1040 in it, and we should be good to go. Yep, see how red that is? We'll take off the cap on the oil fill here just to make sure that the oil is still in this reservoir and that my new oil didn't leak out. Yeah, it's still in here. We're good to go. That's good news. So, yeah, it's right up to where it should be. I overfilled it a little bit the first time, but I did that on purpose because I knew that the system would have to get primed, and then it would lose some into the lines and everything. So we should be in good shape.